This is Past the Rock.
Recording live from count them, 3 locations. This is Past the Rock. I am Patrick, and as always, I am joined by 2 great men, Caesar, aka LCs.
Good to finally be with you guys here to start the year.
I kind of hit you with that one quick, didn't give you a lot of time. Jacob,
It's all good.
aka Bethkey.
Sorry, it makes it fluid. And I feel like this is the first time in like a while that it's the three of us together. So
Yeah, man, it's ironically, I don't know about ironically, but it seems to be a natural progression. And weirdly enough, how ingrained football is in America, the fact that all sports talk pretty much, except for maybe ESPN, takes December off, basically, radio mostly, but it's weird. It's their biggest, they don't, the ratings don't matter at that point of the year, so they want to give their hosts all their vacation then, but that's when the playoffs are being set and happening in football. It's a weird time.
Not if you're in the content creator. Well, some of the content creators, a lot of the like non-regular regimented ones.
I mean, we got Pablo was releasing a bunch of vault stuff. A lot of the channels that I'll follow were doing their, 8-hour-long compilations for the year stuff.
NBA YouTube editor got a rude wake-up call 2 days ago. All the games from the 5th took too long to come out. They've been the NBA's been doing a really good job this season of posting highlights, and it was funny. As soon as they started to come out on the 6th and the 7th, that's when it became the more of what it is.
I feel that it's tough to do the weekly grind. I can't imagine the daily grind.
Daily grind is awful.
Dude, they've been pumping them out though. It's been. Really
I don't have the funding that they have, for sure. So
no, it was probably just one weird incident, but everyone was trolling in the comments talking about the editor finally got the text you're awake.
Oh,
where you at?
the cocaine buzz wore off, slowed him down. But yeah, so it is the new year. Well, what was last week? Last week would have been New Year's Eve. Did we do anything last week? I don't remember. Caesar had his own thing, right?
Briefly.
I sent in a little something. I had to do that twice. Actually.
Oh, right, because you recorded.
Be honest, which one was better?
Video.
Which one? I
think my first video was better because that was actually like concise. I had it planned out, and then this one I was like,
easy to claim when there's.
You had already let it go. You had let it all go, and now you're like,
I let it all go. So I had to remember like what I even said. I'm like, I think I said this and did this. F it.
Should have got some smelling salts just to get yourself ready to go.
Smelling salts for a podcast is crazy.
That extra juice. Yeah. So I guess that means New Year's happened. I don't know about you guys. I did nothing. I stayed home. There were fireworks going off in my neighborhood sporadically, like one every 15 minutes from 6 p.m. until about 1 a.m.
That was the only problem with our plan, is that we now live way too prime a location to have even the expectation reasonably of that. There's literally a lake right there. Like, people are definitely shooting fireworks. Like, the city is doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to. So like I kind of didn't think about that.
I'm okay with like an actual firework. It's just weird just getting one sporadically throughout, every couple of minutes.
To me, New Year's is college football. I always kind of forget that that's a part of the holiday, but then every time I'm just like, oh shit, I forget. Yeah, tonight there is a nice game on. I mean, there was the Cheez-It Bowl. You have Arch Manning is now the king of Cheez-Its, which is good. There's
Sark got a Cheez-It bath.
Sark got a Cheez-It bath. There was a lot of awesome random bullshit. Like there was the guy jumping into the frosted flakes.
On buying Cheez-Its and pouring them over myself in this episode. So unfortunately, I forgot about that.
It's okay. I mean, celebrating the Cheez-It Bowl is one thing. It was actually kind of a fun game, but Michigan.
That is what bowl games are supposed to be. It was awesome.
Yeah, I will say, I think both schools decided, and a lot of the bowl was good. I mean, there was like Pop-Tart Bowl lore continues to grow to the fact where there's like no chance the Pop-Tart Bowl doesn't get involved in the expansion at this point. It's just too easy for everybody involved.
They could be the number one non-playoff bowl soon.
Well, no, like I think they already are really. Like I think we all care about the Pop-Tart Bowl and nothing else at this point.
Yeah. These outside fans, we probably do.
Like just
I
as
still don't
generic,
think
unless you're
it's a big
following a
game.
team.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're just generically wanting to watch things or just being a general fan, I think that's basically it. But anyway, yeah, crazy world of college football. Nothing crazy happening since, right? No mass transfer portal exits, no wild NIL contracts that might be illegal, no heated rivals having starters transfer to each other's teams.
An entire university didn't transfer to another one.
GM on down, yeah.
So I know that you guys want to get to that, but I think that there's a story in this one that's more interesting. But go ahead and fully throw us in there, Patrick. Is there anything before College Foozin?
Not really. I was just gonna see if you guys had any
New
Year's content you felt needed to be shared.
Do you have a New Year's resolution?
No hoopla.
No, we're doing ins and outs now. There's no more resolutions.
Okay. What? So just like this is in, this is out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's all over the internet. Just go look at TikTok and Instagram.
I don't know if I want to type in ins and outs.
That's fair.
How about you put in New Year's ins and outs?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it explained from the mind of a younger 20-year-old, and I was just like, okay. But
I see.
No, I don't do those kind. I've never really.
No, my doctor gave me plenty.
Oh,
they were like, yeah.
Hey-o.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely the first time in my adult life that they were like, starting to have conversations. It's like, all right, fuck, man, I'll handle my business. You worry about your business. I'll worry about my business.
A little bit less salt and red meat, please.
Mine was more of a combination of things for sure, but I think for me, it's less caffeine and more exercise.
I think that's good for everybody, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reduce your caffeine from 400 to 350 and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, although it was funny we don't have to do the medical part, but the doctors can be very funny places for a lot of reasons. But to dip into the wild world here, I wanted to jump into college football because all those things I mentioned earlier, guys, you guys are probably aware of. Do either of you know who Demond Williams is? Have
Washington
you heard that name yet? So you saw today all the stories.
I knew who he was before that report.
How did you know? This is the first I'm hearing of this guy specifically. Is he from here or something?
No. I just happened to catch a Washington game.
He was their quarter. He was their starter this year. I didn't even get that far into it. And I did not watch a single Washington Huskies game. I'm pretty sure this year, maybe a little bit of one at some point, but not a lot. I know they hit the 25 at one point and then fell right out.
He had a solid season. For the Huskies.
So yeah, he wants to go into the portal. Normal. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about a lot here. The only issue is the Huskies are not trying to comply with that. They say that his contract states 2 different times that they do not have to put him in the transfer portal. Potentially, this would be the first LSU quarterback under Lane Kiffin, it seems. It would be LSU would be kind of a favorite in this, but that's speculation for whatever that's worth. Somehow Patrick just got a MySpace era filter.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sitting at this dumb angle where the light's over here, so I was seeing how much the brightness control would help, but it just makes it look funny.
It takes you back 20 years,
Patrick,
man.
Yeah, Patrick coming live to us from 2005.
Pixelated myself.
But so Demond Williams is an interesting story because we're starting to hear more about the contractual part of this. I mean, we'd already seen the re-signings and all this other hilarious shit that people are like it's just very jarring to the usual college football order.
Yeah, we got our first lawsuit with Georgia trying to reclaim money from some kid.
Yeah, Georgia's been suing someone. This could be a lawsuit. There could be some kids made ineligible this season potentially, depending on how things shake out. So Sorsby top quarterbacks seems like
he's one on the tour right now, right?
he has signed. I believe he is officially a Red Raider. But some people were able to, Yahoo Sports and some other thing was able to get a hold of a copy of what was, I guess, not accepted offer from LSU, and potentially uncovered one of the kind of obvious paths that these teams are going to be taking, and it's using corporate sponsorships to skate some of their revenue cap sharing like agreements that they have. So like there is more or less a cap with these teams in some formality,
Well,
not
it's
necessarily a hard.
self-imposed, though.
So
What?
It's kind of self-imposed, though. No one's telling them how much they're allowed to spend.
So I think it's the conference by conference is what.
That's what I
is
mean. Yeah,
deciding it. Yeah.
they're deciding their own rules. So it's not like
So that, but you do have to, play by those rules, right? Those rules is where the quotations need to go, because it's like, all right, well, this LSU deal, had he had taken it, Sorsby would have been $5 million himself technically, and the cap is at 20.5. You're telling me that the rest of the giant LSU roster would take just that 15, whatever 15.5 change. So like that obviously doesn't make sense. So that is interesting. And then of course there's a potential world where if these deals are made, and again, this isn't necessarily saying that Sorsby signed that contract with Tech or that anyone signed one of these, but if this kind of deal is being signed or has been signed by any of these players, there could be a point down the year where they're actually ineligible to play, because the corporate sponsorship will be breaking this cap thing. Now, again, it could all be a kangaroo court. It could all just be a joke and a sham just to do it and to say that there's order. But it's interesting because we're testing the waters of this, and it's never obviously been done.
Yeah,
and there's not really a lot of rules.
There's a lot of things interesting about this, right? So he signed it, said it was going to be like around $4 million. Reports are he's going to be like near the top of the college football market, and then decides, okay, I'm going to go ahead and transfer.
You consider Sorsby the number one guy because he's going to ended up getting the biggest bag, I think.
And
Drew get
but yeah, I'm looking at some of these
estimator.
Oh no, I don't think Mestamaker and those guys did. I don't think they got those numbers.
Now, Mestamaker, I think I saw got some big numbers.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure he cleared
But
over.
back to the Demon Williams situation here. I know we moved on to Sorsby, but the thing about this one that I wanted to kind of touch on is the underlying question about this whole story and a lot of what's going on in NIL. It's what is like, are these contracts enforceable, right? Because if they are, then you're like there goes the whole transfer thing where if you're these schools, you're going to try to lock these kids in for 2-3 years maybe. You're not going to really want to do a one and done unless it's like a guy on his last year of eligibility, right? And if they're not enforceable, well, then you're going to see a lot of tug of war going on because like these schools can be like, yeah, we'll give you this, and then they just won't follow through on the payments, and then these kids are going to keep going back into the transfer portal.
I mean, really, it's cliche, but the Wild Wild West term is like the only one that's actually really accurate here. And by the way, Mestamaker, 3.5 milli. He gets 4 milli if he stays another.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's set for life. He's making more money than actual drafted quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah,
which is good
anyone
for
on their rookie deal. It's not like a top first round pick, right?
I think like the first 2 rounds you make some pretty solid money. It's a little bit more than what you would make as an NIL, but honestly, Dave, once you get to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, then you're.
I mean,
it's not to say that the money
lower.
can't continue to grow in this ecosystem as well, to where it's who knows which one catches up with which. So yeah,
there's
it's
so
been
many
a crazy
angles that
one.
you could take on this story. That's why, it's just like.
I guess for us, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's, you always like the idea of a hypothetical of reshaping a league. We don't ever get to do that, but we're watching it happen in real time with a bunch of people who still only have the money interest and not like our genuine interest of trying to reshape it for the actual content of the game and all that.
Sometimes breaking things is fine, but sometimes
I think it's working
stupid
out.
and irrelevant.
College football has never been more popular.
This one I do actually feel like is a good win for the breaking things crowd. There's not a lot of those that I think get earnest wins. I think most of that philosophy is pretty stupid, but I think for this one, there was no other way to do it because basically you had to set a legal precedent and then all these people had to be forced to follow it. And then now it's just a race to see who actually regulates it.
I'm not going to be able to distill this exactly right. Writer, I think he's a writer, might be a TV guy. Jordan Rodgers, not the brother of Aaron Rodgers, a different Jordan Rodgers, was talking about this. Basically, it's where it's going to get weird, at least in the court system, is that these are not performance contracts, and they're not. These players aren't signing contracts that say you have to live in this zip code to do it. They're representing some company that's supposed to be using their name, image, and likeness, which they could do no matter who you're playing for.
Yeah.
So at some point, someone someday is going to have to step in and make
a union.
Someone someday is
a unifying, overarching property that the NCAA is supposed to be.
Was and has been stripped of,
but
more or less.
It never really was. It was put up with until they did something the school didn't like, and then the school said, "What are you going to do about it?" Kind of like the UN.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great idea. It hasn't been something that necessarily has had a lot of teeth or use.
Like it sucks. They got power over you if you're Missouri, but
yeah. So look, I think for us locally, it's the UNT side of this. We probably want to go on a little bit. A lot of the kids went to Oklahoma State. We had a couple go there. One went to East Carolina. So did our offensive coordinators. So that kind of makes sense. We had a kid go to Duke.
Yeah, but our trio, I think, is the one that matters the most. The running back, receiver, quarterback.
There was at least 7, 8 of them went to Oklahoma State. Plus all the coaches, plus the GM.
I think the GM and the head coach are they're going to really hurt the most to lose.
Yeah, I mean the GM definitely, but I still have a lot of faith in what UNT has as far as resources and the ecosystem of the game.
They were forward enough to bring that kid in, so whoever they bring in next,
as long as you understand those things, right? Like you understand your place in the market, and understand that this market is still very lively right now. And like, yes, the next person, Neil Brown, guess what? Spoiler alert, guys. Neil Brown doesn't want to stay here either. He wants to be really successful here. He doesn't want to stay here. He doesn't want to build UNT into a powerhouse. No one does right now. If that ever happens, it takes 3 or 4 guys getting us to a point over a 10-year span where then maybe there's enough resources and maybe we're in the better conference.
Feels like it would have to be someone who played here.
Yeah, it would probably have to be a little bit more of a homegrown, again, because we not only exist with SMU and TCU, we exist under the shadow of the Red River rivalry, which happens in our metropolitan area for a reason, and then the Aggie people who are here, and then the Red Raiders that obviously can't live in Lubbock because life isn't sustainable in Lubbock. So this is just kind of what, the reality of it is. So the kids want to live in the DFW market because they're from the DFW market a lot of times. So it's really not a bad job.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of kids from West Virginia. We got a former 4-star. Like,
I was going to say, even in the CFB game, as North Texas, I often have to use proximity to home as my main recruiting tool because.
Oh, dude, you got to grind in that game whenever you're butt cheeks, bro. Like, you got to really just it takes like multiple years of recruiting the next star tier up to get to that next tier. Like, you really have to do it for like 2 years at one tier, 2 years at another.
That's the thing is they're in a position where if they want to, they can, but they are always going to have to try 10 times as hard as a bigger school.
Yeah, and it could happen, I guess, one day, but it would take a long journey that we have just started, mostly with Eric Morris and his tenure. And it's not to say that Seth Luttrell was a complete dumpster fire.
League, and then we can do regionalized college football, and then
you can joke about that, but honestly, we may not be that far away.
Something has to give eventually. or else these kids are going to be making $50 million a year to play.
I did say one thing funny about this. I finally saw a couple of tweets from the Pokes fans that were like, okay, have we taken too many UNT players? And I'm like, no, I feel them because once I start seeing the defensive side of the ball go over there, I'm like,
Is Eric Morris a little too attached to guys that he?
No, but I mean, Oklahoma State was so bad, dude. Like they really are. We're not. Are not
he's probably seeing it as like a instilling culture, and then we'll get some better guys in here.
Yeah, dude. Oklahoma State was fucking garbage last season. Like we cannot underestimate how much. Like Mac Brown checked out, but Texas was still rolling out first rounders. This dude checked out, and Oklahoma State was not the kind of place to check out of, dude. They already were. Yeah. They were already doing their fucking fighting it all. And then NIL happened, and fucking and Gundy got right on his fucking comfortable couch.
Well, they're also just a weird spot. I don't know what the situation is now, but for the longest time, they're pretty much North Texas, but they had one guy who was willing to put billions of dollars into it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for them, it's probably just Oklahoma booms a little bit more. They're one of the few cities in Oklahoma. I'm sure economically there's just a little bit better than they've been. So we'll see. And then the final part of the portal I wanted to talk about for the real football action, comments on Parker Livingstone turning op.
That's fine.
I thought it was funny. I mean, I was kind of hoping that he was not going to do that, but I guess it makes sense you stay in this.
I think the only part that's really the funniest to me is that he was Arch's roommate.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're trying to bring in Cam Coleman, and that's probably who we're going to talk about next. Cam Coleman's a big deal. It
was funny the way that he posted it saying that it's out of his control when really, he could have chosen to take less money to stay at Texas.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever.
I don't blame him. I'm just saying it's just funny to put.
I think Oklahoma had some guys at the portal too from the receiver room,
and they need it.
So they definitely need it. I think he'll be good there. And,
he's fine.
So, yeah, I mean, I just thought it was funny, and I think it's actually really good because if you know the history of Texas OU rivalry, it's actually very incestuous in a lot of funny ways.
It's
Mac. I mean, there's a lot of them throughout the time on their side too.
It is a rivalry, but it's not like it's a different type. It's a way more chilled out version of hate than most rivalries.
Yeah, it's a different thing because ultimately,
it's like an intellectual rivalry. It has nothing to do with like actually not liking anybody.
And I think the University of Oklahoma it's a good university, so I think their ability to compete at that level is.
If he had gone to A&M, that'd get under a lot more people's skin, I think.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, so I think that's about it with the portal. Like I said, Cam Coleman's an interesting one to watch for everybody, and I love that he's fighting over the Texas Triangle. Obviously, I want him to go to Texas, but I just love that the Texas Triangle is duking it out for a kid who's definitely, honestly, could have went top 5 if they changed the rules right now. I don't care.
These kids are just immediately picking up on, if I just go visit as many schools as possible, the money just keeps getting up a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't know what he's going to choose, and I don't really care because Cam Coleman's fucking good, like good. So, yeah, I mean, would I probably choose Arch Manning over Sorsby and Marcel Reed? Of course, but that's not a pitch. That's just logic.
I mean, just the amenities.
No, dude. Honestly, it's that simple to me. Like,
bro, I mean, sure, but it's like,
Arch Manning over those two guys.
On top of that, it's like everything else is also probably better.
I think I judge him hardest if he goes to A&M because I think we already know who Marcel Reed is.
He could write the hardest road.
Yeah, that's true, Jerome. You want to get out of the mud? Go to the Fun College Station. That's fair. You know what? That's a good sell for the Aggies.
I think my last thing on portal is, and this is something everyone said already, they just have to move it past the playoffs.
Yeah, the timing is trash, but the playoffs are also really long, so I do feel like it's tough. I don't know what gets there.
They can have the playoffs done by this week. They could be done right now.
I think you got to fix the coaches thing, and I think the players thing will be worse or less worse as a result.
I mean, as long as you just have the date. Just line the dates up. I don't know.
Because the coaches, when they leave, they trigger a window as well.
Yeah.
So you also have to consider that. But either way, interesting.
And Mark Cuban's going to spend a bunch of money to try to keep Indiana on top.
Yeah, and we'll get to them. Start with the Hurricanes, the Miami Hurricanes. It's all about the you. The Michael Irvins.
Third leg Greg.
Yep. I will. So, like, my biggest takeaway from this game, it's going to go down here, right here. Okay? Jerry Steven. It's very simple. You have two of them. Both of them better come from that game right there. Okay? That's all I know. And both of them on the defensive side of the ball.
What are you going to do with that extra pick from the Giants?
Let it out. It's going to be the Alabama quarterback. Let's see. Yeah, that was a big one. The defense was incredible in this game. Basically, it was a wear them down defensive game. Both offenses looked like they could do their damnedest to earn a yard. You end up just kind of having Miami break down the Ohio State defense through running, and then eventually they're just able to kind of put the game away on a really long running drive. Sort of the tail of the game that I would want to do here, the bubble screen interception. I didn't grab the clip of it, but when there was a bubble screen interception thrown, I think Ohio State was driving to go 7-7. That ends up putting the Hurricanes up 14-0. And there was a lot of game left, obviously, after that. But I think that was the moment where it was like, oh, shit, okay, the Canes are going to win this thing. And they did. Did you guys have any thoughts and opinions on that one other than it's all about the you?
I was wrong about every single game.
Man,
yeah, I mean, I also did badly, so that's fine.
I
was surprised by how that game played out, man.
I didn't see any.
Ohio State was good, man. I think they're a really good team. I think for them, either one or two things is true. Julian saying just a little too green, or their defense truly was the best thing in college football this season, and we let two stupid losses because of their offense and their quarterback get in our heads. And I might be leaning more towards that on the Hurricanes. But yeah, so that's basically all it is from that game. I am excited to keep watching them. Carson Beck sucks, but it is fun to watch that team. Otherwise,
I think me and you at least covered this last week. It's just I thought these games were so hard to pick just because all these teams are pretty much, they got the right. Seems like a good four to have as your final four. So it is fun that we're moving past a couple of the former names now for the titles with Ohio State and Georgia out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we will have a pretty interesting new champion as far as things go here, right? Because the Canes we'll
thank God Texas Tech is not going to win national
right.
title.
So that's where our second game picks up in the early mornings of the new year. The Red Raiders fans woke up to an awful sight to some extent. First of all, this was an awful uniform game. Not at any fault to the Texas Tech people here. They did the all black. I think that's appropriate. No issues there. Oregon deciding to do all white with like gunmetal black and gray helmets. Just truly unfortunate dropping of the ball there.
Dude, I'm tired of Oregon. Just their uniforms are never the same week to week. And here's the thing with all schools, right? All schools, you have like a signature uniform that you're like, yep, I know who that school is. Oregon doesn't have that anymore. It's always a new uniform every time. And you're like, sometimes they don't even wear the green. You could tell somebody, hey, you know Oregon's colors? And they'll be like, it's silver, chrome, black. You're like, no, it's green and yellow.
Yeah, no, it's really gross. And I think they just like the jersey sales probably on it. But
it's a fashion line running a football program.
Off the rails with that.
For me, it's really frustrating to see as well. So that was a big note. Texas defense, really good, dude. Like they really played their ass off. Yep. They really put them in a way. Yeah, I think I threw those together. But offense maybe needs more love. But honestly, I thought the Ducks defense was very impressive as well. It was just a nasty game. I mean, it basically was consistently there for the Red Raiders to just come alive. And every time it basically got shut down. I thought the tail of the game for them, Red Raiders fumbled on their own drive, 2:30 left after a goal line stand. This in the first half. Only cost them 3 points in the moment, so they go down 6-0 at halftime. But I think the confidence of the team looked gone by that point. And then there ends up being a goal line. I think they end up stopping them and getting into a scoring position later. Like, it took Oregon a while to run away with this one. The score looked a little worse than it actually was, but Tech really looked, they lost all offensive confidence after the second, that late in that second quarter.
I think the thing that I like the most about that performance, though, at least from the Oregon defense, it's just, I know Morton's not the best quarterback in the world, especially in Tech, but man, the way they just stifled that offense was just so beautiful to watch.
The true freshman had 3 turnovers in that game, 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery for a true freshman cornerback. So Oregon defense really
impressive.
Not something. Oregon defense, Tech bad offense. 2 things we don't usually have conversations about in history.
New World Order.
Yeah, New World Order for sure. Speaking of, if it's the New World, we know who the Kings might be. Indiana Bama was a good one for 1 quarter. Then shit got pretty disrespectful. I didn't tune into Feinbaum, but I would love to have heard the Tide fans going nuts on this one.
We got a whole SEC short for it.
Oh,
basically.
dude, see, they got it. Yeah, see, my algorithm's all fucked up right now. Yeah, I would say that Bama getting absolutely dismantled by Indiana was incredible. And it wasn't just that they lost badly. It was that they beat the shit out of them in the way that exactly the way Saban beats the shit out of. Like, it was nasty, hard hits. It was ground and pound, play action quarterback decisions. Like, bro, we're talking about Saban playbook 100%, and that shit looked crazy.
And it's funny
and he's fucking up the portal, by the way.
Bring up, right?
Continue.
It's funny that you bring up Saban, since this guy was on Saban's staff for 4 or 5 years, and just didn't hear anything about him for so long.
Yeah, and he went on and do some kind of journeyman coaching, and didn't take him long to jump up the ranks and to be where he is. I like him. He has a lot of really fun stuff. Like, he talks about work-life balance and how coaches that stay late, they're just faking it. That that's not real effort. They're not efficient coaches. I think that's respectable. He doesn't waste people's time. I think that's something you don't understand.
You mean the guys who are sitting in their office drinking whiskey, watching YouTube might not be?
Yeah, I mean, that is like a lot of it's probably escapism from families they don't want to be with or some bullshit. You know what I mean?
It's just, there's also just the ingrained, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
This is
no, dude. I was here though, but did you see? I was here, but I was here.
And this is just what football guy does.
That's what football guy does.
Mike McCarthy built the whole barn.
He built the barn, and now he's going to be a head coach again. I hope for the funniness of it. Coach DeBoer, I think he definitely going to be on the hot seat starting next year at Bama.
It's so dumb. He's doing so well for everything that he was handed there.
True. At the same time,
don't tell that to a Bama fan.
Doing the old Bethke special when you're already up against an opponent like Indiana is crazy. And I know you guys may not know this, but the Bethke special is on college football. Look, if I'm feeling a little cocky and it's 3rd and short and I'm on the other goal and I'm like, I'm still on the wrong side of the 50, I'm gonna go for it. And like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit. We're gonna have some fun. It's a video game.
Yeah.
And then when the camera pans to Signetti,
yeah,
camera pans to Signetti, like, you really trying me with this shit?
That was bad, dude. And so from that moment on, I think the desperation was in the air, and Kirk got his boys to believe that they could not just beat Bama, but they could dog walk Bama, and they did. They did. They absolutely dog walked Alabama. Yeah, I mean, look, Alabama was obviously flawed this season, but didn't think we'd ever see a world even this quickly, or even, I don't know. I mean, I guess Bama was pretty mediocre when I was a kid. but
I
still.
mean, yeah, outside of Bear Bryant, they were not much until Saban just blew it up. And then I was expecting it to fall off pretty damn hard pretty quick. So the fact that they're still right here to me is pretty impressive for DeBoer.
Yep, but we'll see how that continues to last. Because their whole thing is that they're the 31st NFL team, right? Or 33rd, whatever, however many fucking teams are in the NFL. You know, and that wasn't just because of players, right? Or like that whole who could beat who. It was because the state of Alabama funds it and roots for it the same way that NFL teams root for theirs, allegedly. But I think NFL fans, for the most part, are pretty overrated now. The Rebels, they win the final one in a thriller against the Dogs, Kirby's boys, starting to be a title drought in Georgia, which is funny. That's how good of a standard you have if you don't win in like 3 years, and then everyone's like, "Oh, is there a drought now?" This ended up being notable for a lot of reasons. Number one, the bye week teams went to 1-7. So,
I'm telling you, man, you got to move these playoffs up. Because it's not just they're not just having one bye week; they're all for like a month.
Yeah, so that one feels notable. Statistically, that one feels notable. But the game itself was absolutely fun. Obviously, the crypt or the spirit of Lane Kiffin haunted this one. Looked like there were times where it was going to have the Rebels succumb to it, but ultimately they didn't. They played a really good game. I think ultimately this game comes down to a fade call that Chambliss hits to end up putting the guys into field goal position at the end of the game. That was obviously the moment that this thing was sealed. Georgia just tied it. They end up sort of having enough time. I think it was like 50-something seconds, no timeouts. And they end up like really quickly in that drive just calling a go, and the guy beats the defender, and they're able to get into position almost instantaneously and then kick the game winner. But the tale was so much more than that. I mean, you're talking about the Rebels started this game with 2 absolute fucking bombs with their kicker, like hit them like big money kicks, big, long, perfectly in the middle, and they were both longer than 55, I think. That's definitely unusual for college. So that's a great tone for them. And then you have Trinidad Chambliss converting on one of the best no, fuck yes plays ever towards the start of the fourth in that one that ends up ending in the drive where they win the game. So a lot of that stuff has been crazy. I think ultimately what happened in this one, Ole Miss was able to stop Georgia to start the second half. This is notable because they were it was 21-12. They had just botched their chance to kick a field goal before half. This is Joe Judge, by the way. You guys might remember that name.
Yeah.
Joe Judge was in charge of this unit, and they botched an opportunity to obviously make it, probably because the kicker had just shown us how fucking awesome he was already in this game. And so there's a real chance where if they fuck that up and then Georgia immediately scores, now it's 28-12, and this game doesn't even get close to for them to have Uncle Mo on their side. So that was probably the biggest moment of the game. In a game that I think, back in the day, the college football game used to rank as instant classics. I think they might have to rank this one an instant classic. I don't know where it would go, maybe top 10 at least, but incredible football game as far as that last one.
What's exciting? I'm glad Ole Miss is having a good showing.
Yeah, and Trinidad Chambliss putting himself on a national stage is not just one of the best quarterbacks in college football, but one of the most entertaining ones. Because sometimes you can be one of the better guys, and you're just like, all right, you're not that exciting to watch. You're just good, right? This guy's good and exciting, right? And
he's really living up to the Russell Wilson comps.
I wonder how hard he fights for that extra year of eligibility if he wins the title this year.
I feel
would he not be eligible under the COVID rules?
He's having to apply for a.
Because I know he didn't start in Division I.
It also feels like he will. It also feels like he will, right? The Pavia one,
yeah,
I don't know where they're going to get him another year, but this guy, it feels like they'll get him another year.
I mean, and if not, some team in the NFL is going to be lucky to be able to try to develop him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Chambliss probably won't go but around where Mr. Unlimited went because of similar issues. But hell of a fucking player, dude. And I think he's going to be one of those guys where they're like ball watchers are going to be really in love with him. I think the statistics are pretty good too, but ball watchers love him. Previewing what is tomorrow and Friday, we have Miami at Ole Miss, and we have the Oregon Ducks and the Indiana Hoosiers. I don't, for the life of me, remember what games are what and who's involved. I don't know what bowl games represented in this. Who gives a shit?
I got it right here. You don't even have to worry.
So,
the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl will host the Big Ten, and then the Fiesta Bowl will have the two teams from the South who should probably be playing in the.
So it's Arizona and Atlanta that these games are being.
Arizona and Atlanta.
We got Miami as 3-point favorites, Indiana 4-point favorites.
I mean, you have to believe in Miami. Trinidad Chambliss is way better than Beck, but like, he's definitely getting drafted if he fucking beats Miami. I think that you could put that one in the books for sure, because that would be your true test, because that defense is nasty.
So it sounds like you're locking in Miami to win.
I think Miami is going to be who I would pick, and I think, probably on the other side. I mean, you don't want to believe in Oregon because they haven't done it. But at the same time, Dan Lanning does feel a little bit different from the Chip Kelly machine that went on to Mario Cristobal, I think, for a little bit before becoming what it is today. I think I got to go. Yeah, I think I got to go Miami Indy for the national title. Yeah, I think I got to.
I'm looking at this.
I got Ole Miss in Indiana.
I'm right there with you, Patrick.
It's a fun story. Indiana. It's a fun story with Ole Miss, and Trinidad Chambliss is definitely like there's a superstar X factor to him that's very fun. But I do wonder if the fact that it's just the different versions of football. Georgia had been living in this world where they were sort of, despite their reputation and despite Kirby's reputation, they were living more like they live on the streets and the roads when they're behind the wheel. Fast and dangerous. You know what I mean? Like Georgia fell in love with games over 30 points this season, okay? And that's very strange for Georgia. So I think them playing like that is notable. And I think it gave Ole Miss a chance. Miami, they've been playing in the, they're playing in the dog fights. They're being more physical. I think that'll end up being what helps the Canes.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because you look at Gunnar Stockton, and that's just not a guy who I want in a shootout at all, just whatsoever.
Dude,
this is a team that wants to.
But no fear of CTE though. He does not fear the Reaper. Not
at all. He does not, and you can tell by some of the things that make you scratch your head. You're like, well, I wouldn't have done that, but I got the first down. So
no, I mean,
neither here nor there. But listen, I look at that Miami matchup with Ole Miss. It's probably going to be the more. I feel like that if between both games, right, that one will be the one that has a score that's a little bit more lopsided.
Mm.
If there is a potential for a lopsided score, I'm not saying that Ole Miss will blow them out or Miami will blow them out. I'm just
Miami's good. I could see either of those.
I can see something where one team shits the bed one way or the other, and the score is not truly indicative of the quality of both football teams.
If Miami loses, we can already tell you exactly why. It's the quarterback threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I look at the other side, right? Indiana, Oregon. I'm expecting an epic. I am expecting a defensive epic at that. I'm not low score.
Yeah,
you see two guys who are, and you got two guys who are potentially first round draft picks, going up against each other in this matchup, right? You got
1 versus 2.
Dante Moore
for the quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, potentially, right? We'll see what Dante Moore does. Especially since he tweeted he put on his Instagram stories. He's like, would you rather go to college or play for the Jets? He put that question out there. And I'm like, buddy, if you do really, really well,
that decision might not be the worst.
No,
and
I'm
I think
just
the
like,
other-
buddy.
If anything, other NFL GMs are like, "Oh, he's a smart one."
So
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a really talented player. I still think that he probably would. There would be some advantage to him playing another season, and when you can't trust the
It would be
NFL
to
the way
his
you can't
benefit.
trust the NFL, I think it might.
Yeah.
He might be one of the guys, just like the Alabama kid. But the Alabama kid, I might argue the different part, because if he knows that DeBoer is about to, the DeBoer thing is only has so much steam in it, then he might be making the right call by going ahead and jumping ship to the NFL if he stays, of course. He doesn't have to
Listen, since we're going onto that one as a brief aside, it is much better for Ty Simpson to go to the draft than it is for NFL teams to draft him in the first round, because he's not a first round.
To
Especially
me,
since he's only played
100%.
Season.
Wait, do you have the draft order? He's at least a top 10 player, top 11 player.
No,
I believe
he sure shit didn't play like it for
I
the last
believe
part of the year.
firmly that he is a top 11 player.
You mean a top 11 player in the draft, or someone who's going to be drafted in the top 11?
Why not both?
Okay.
I believe the one that you just said, Patrick, the one where he gets drafted top 11. Yes, is he a top 11 player? I don't think so.
Look, I just
That's just me. Do I have a mock? Or do I have the order of the draft? Yes.
I just know that 2 picks need
I
to
don't see it with
be
that kid,
heavily defensive. I need
right
defensive
now.
players to slide. Okay. All right.
Well,
anyway,
let's see. You
we're
got the
not
Raiders.
there.
They're going quarterback. Jets absolutely have to go quarterback. Cardinals, Titans, Giants, Browns, Commanders, Saints, Chiefs, Bengals. You have about
That sounds like
5
11
quarterback
quarterbacks.
needy teams in that. Oh, and then the Dolphins at 11. Don't worry about it. You'll have your pick of the litter.
They're going to hold on to
defensively at
Quinn
number
so
12.
Arch can take his job.
No, let's go. 11 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Anyway, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
That
but
would
that's
be
neither here
so
nor there.
funny.
Back to
That'd be
the
dumbest thing in the world.
Indy though. Yeah, Indy,
Yeah.
Oregon though. That one I expect to be just hard nosed, ugly football where every possession matters, every throw matters, every carry matters. And I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I think it could also be just as exciting of maybe as any of the games we've seen this season. So, yeah, we've got the picks, and we were awful at it last week, but last week was more unknown, so we're going to be better at this week, even though we've all picked differently for the most part.
So
How did that go
overall-
for us, Patrick?
Both of you got 1 point for all
Yeah.
3 picks.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So Bethke leads right now 5. Sees has 4 points. I have 1 point. I cannot catch up.
So, tough.
Word.
We'll do better this week.
I might actually
Um,
watch these 2 games.
You should. Yeah, this one, I mean, it's definitely been streamlined now. These are incredible teams.
When it's
and
not
I do
based
think
around,
there is
like,
a bit of a coin
New
flip.
Year's and stuff, it's easier for me to. Well, just that whole time warp is weird. Of not
It's
days not
bang,
feeling
bang.
like real days anymore for a few weeks there.
All right, so then I guess that's it for the college football. We've got a little brief aside to do with the hoopity hoops world.
Here, real quick.
Someone
was
losing steam over
Better
there.
of a sound than I thought it would be too. Oh, it literally has the word "long" in it. That's on me.
AO.
Basketball.
Trey Young.
Sport.
Well, really just Trey Young.
I like the way they dribble up and down the court.
We got to talk about the divorce that's been filed with the ESPN court of law.
Mm.
So Shams tweeted out a couple days ago something that confirmed what a lot of rumors were, and honestly, we've been doing this for a bit now. It's not impossible that it's already happened at this point, but Trey Young is expected to be traded from the Atlanta Hawks ASAP Rocky, to the point where we basically already know, for the most part, nothing yet. We all pretty much know, for the most part, who it's going to be, and for the most part, who's going to be involved. This is what's being
The artist formerly known as the Bullets.
This is the artist formerly known as the Bullets, the Washington Wizards. They will be taking in Trae Young.
Michael Jordan's team.
It's an incredible. Yes, yeah, exactly. And still, no, he doesn't own it. That's Charlotte. Anyway, basically, Atlanta didn't re-up Trae Young like a year ago when they could have. That was notable. People kind of filed it away. You started seeing more trade rumors. Before Luka, he was the popular trade candidate to the Lakers. Jalen Johnson, one of their young players, has panned out way better than they could have ever expected. He's an incredible player. They're building the thing around him now. This gives them a chance to get off a lot of money and have God tier levels spending if they want, with an already talented roster in lock. So it makes sense for both sides to just sort of announce a divorce and I suppose announce a team. This isn't great for your market, but you have to remember before you get all Jerry Jones destroys his own market theory, this is a different world where there's so much regulation on trading that you have players actively bitching on these podcasts in like citing the CBA and like calling out the players now. Kevin Love just did it. He's an old guy. He has authority. They're bitching about the cap rules and about how this is making things more difficult for the players to get their money. It's very top heavy. Like the best players get the most money, and then there's still a lot of.
Oh right, I mean this is all
veterans are being phased out.
LeBron CP3 CBA, right?
No. This is it favors them a lot, but
that's what I mean.
This recent CBA was CJ McCollum and like Grant Williams and like Jaylen Brown and shit.
Okay.
So anyway, these guys, it's not great.
Speaking of CJ McCollum, he was ruled out today.
Right, and then so we kind of know I went to go to the trade machine, and before I could even put one in, I found the perfect one for us to talk about. So I wasted no further time. This is one of the most popular trending on SpotTrack's app right now.
Corey Kispert.
Yeah, Corey Kispert might be involved in this. Let's see. Yeah,
they pulled him out just a couple hours ago too.
Oh yeah, and then there was some evidence that he was good to go because he did a practice. So this proposal has the Wizards getting more or less a throw-in player with Durasek. I think that's how you pronounce it. With Trae, obviously, and then giving up Corey Kispert, who's a decent shooting wing, not a great defender, but a decent size player, so that you can deal with it if he's making shots. Bub Carrington, incredible fun player, really like actually, and it probably will be funny if he ends up being way better than or way more conducive to winning than Trae. And then Anthony Davis going to Atlanta to be more of the centerpiece to a very defensive young roster. And then, of course, the Mavericks getting Zach Richardson, the former number one pick, who I do think still will pan out to be a really high-level role player. He is struggling a little bit with consistency, but I do think that the fact that the next team that gets him won't be weighing so much or so heavily on the fact that he was the first-round pick. CJ McCollum is basically just cap filler. That one's going to go off the books at the end of the year, if I'm correct. And so obviously the Mavs would really be doing this for draft capital, which they definitely would have liked to get advantage of because they could barely beat the Kings, mostly full health minus Kyrie Irving last night. So, yeah.
What's hilarious is a pick that the Hawks would love to use in this deal. They don't have anymore. Which is with San Antonio, which will be their first round pick this year.
Right. Well, Atlanta's not going to be bad. Like they're already good without Trae Young, and if they get rid of him and put together a real roster, then they might they might end up making a run in the playoffs.
I do forget they're playing in the East, but
yeah, trust me, they're fine. Like their record may not be great right now, but don't let that fool you.
I'm just saying, what if
they make a quick decision,
we manage to get a third top 2 pick in 3 years?
They're not going to be that bad. I can already tell you right now, even if Trae stays, they're not that bad. They're an incredible team.
Has he been playing? I saw that video the other day of he came out for a couple minutes during warmups looking.
No, he did play for them for a little bit. Lost, I think, both games, and then went back to the bench and they started winning again.
Interesting.
Tough for Dre. the good news here for Trey is if you go to Washington, the expectations are even lower than Atlanta. You're almost guaranteed to be a Hall of Fame player because, like, how could he not put up the stats necessary in that environment? Yeah, I mean, look, the funny part of this, especially if this trade happens, this three-way trade that Anthony Davis gets his reprieve from the Luka trade and Dallas moves on to whatever the future is, it brings a question to my mind that I would like for you guys to answer. Let's live in a world where this trade is real. It doesn't necessarily matter all the logistics of it, but this is the move that they make. They basically get picks and a promising young player for Anthony Davis. And the Hawks
read that back up?
Oh, yeah, and the Hawks end up moving on from Trae Young for Anthony Davis and two talented role players.
I need the Mavs to get Kristaps back in this deal. Sorry.
So the question I then ask you guys is an old question that we used to hear a lot. So who won the 2018 draft?
The Lakers.
Oh, yeah, the Lakers.
The Lakers.
Oh, isn't it funny how far we've come from that question? History is a funny fucking place sometimes, at least in these regards where it's just children's games for money. It's just a funny ass thing to think about. Is all that hoopla and debate and rage about Trae Young and Luka Doncic just for this to be the reality of both of all four of the franchises, the players, everybody involved.
Say, look, we were talking about Dallas and Atlanta, not exactly stalwart NBA teams that are known for holding on to.
Well, Dallas was pretty good at holding on to a European white guy for a while.
They had one,
obviously, but yeah, I mean, this was tough. I don't know. There's not much more else to go on. It may not be that trade.
I'm happy to be done with ever hearing about trade to San Antonio again.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really wish him luck to some extent with whatever the next venture is, because there is a large amount of data that really is unfortunate for him. And it doesn't matter. He'll make a lot of money. He'll have a good career, and he may not care. But the nerds are going to treat him like Russell Westbrook on steroids. So that's...
You mean Westbrook?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be awesome for him when the nerds get involved in the conversation. Well, actually, so Trae Young, actually. And it's like, all right, guys, like he still does fun things. Like, it's okay to just call him a Harlem Globetrotter and move on,
So, like, AI?
I think AI played better, but AI had a different issue. I don't think there were on-court flaws for Allen Iverson other than size.
Oh, okay. I didn't really know that well.
I would say Allen Iverson was actually
never that great, but that's
Allen Iverson was a really talented defender. He was a really talented defender. Yeah, the ball hogging was bad, but that era was also not like fluid offense. That's why the Spurs were so dominant. Is there was a lot of ball hogging.
If Allen Iverson was just 3 inches taller, just a whole different perspective of what you thought about him as a defender. Because
if he's 3 inches taller, he also like
it takes away some of his elusiveness.
Maybe, yeah, that's true.
Maybe unless you get the same. And
it does take away the everyman.
People were like, "Oh man, what if like?"
He's the people's champ, right?
What if Anthony Hernandez, or I don't know, less extreme case? What if Dez was like a more sane person? They're like, "How good would he be at football?" I'm like, I think it'd be a lot worse, actually.
No, yeah, I think that Allen Iverson would lose the people's champ thing, because I think that was a big part of it. I think he was being a smaller NBA player and being so good.
Well, that, and who supported American businesses more than the guy who bought brand new clothes everywhere he went?
He was a fashion icon, true, obviously.
Laziness.
So look, this is what Trae Young's career has become to some extent. It is an exciting move for the Hawks. I think whenever the rumors were of them just moving Trae for Anthony Davis, more or less, I looked at that for both teams and just being like, this trade just sounds like a clickbait buzz to put out on the internet.
It sounds like the last time we're going to hear the Hawks in the national media for the next 20 years. So
No, I really think I would think that's a miscalculation of what basketball is becoming. Basketball is becoming a little more, I guess hockeyified, if you want to use that term, where it's like your star player is still going to probably net you a decent amount of wins, but now it's way less important than it used to be historically. Like these teams are building up armies.
I just think Trey is maybe the only player that's been in Atlanta in my lifetime that's actually been like,
well, yeah, they had a very boring but good team for a while
to generate buzz.
Because
I don't know how many
the Jeff T.
were,
Al Horford team won a lot of games, but
what
they
was
weren't
Joe
notable.
Johnson or
Yeah, Joe Johnson was their best player, basically. Yeah. But I do think Jalen Johnson's really incredible. If you've not watched that kid play, I would consider it like his best comp is a really niche one from the 70s, but it's I guess it's more like if Magic Johnson was like more of a wing. It's just incredible. He's big. He's strong. He's fucking talented as all nuts. And it's just he's just been realizing his potential more and more. And it's like he's one of the creative player type of level NBA guys. And him just actually giving his shit and reaching his potential is a lot of the reason. He was a 5-star. People knew about him. It was a bad year at Duke. He goes like middle of the first round to Atlanta, and all of a sudden the Hawks are in position to move off of Trae Young and not feel it, which is incredible. Yeah, I think that's it for the basketball stuff. Like I said, even if Anthony Davis isn't involved in this trade, that one's probably still coming down the pike.
other things we've learned in the NBA. We talked about this briefly when I was bragging about the Spurs being the Thunder, but it just kind of gives the Thunder losing just a couple of games in the last few weeks gives you
Thunder haven't been awesome.
Pretty good perspective on just how good those Warrior and Bulls teams were.
Yeah, dude, they're gonna fuck around and have to go get Giannis and show. Oh, and there it is.
What do we get?
This one looks like
Breaking
it
news?
is still breaking as it's coming, so this could expand. But for now, it just says CJ Collum and Corey Kispert, 2-team.
Is there not a
Right.
freaking air horn sound on this thing?
Yeah, I think that is it. Yeah, and that makes more sense than the trade I showed you guys. That one was a little bit of fun. But, yeah.
I guess those will be our sounders because I don't have.
Shamsy, there's a Shams bomb for you, kids, right there. Yeah, because I don't know why that wouldn't work financially. CJ McCollum makes an ass ton. So, there you go. The Atlanta Hawks have made the move, and I guess that's all they're getting out of it. I think there was an argument about draft compensation earlier.
There's probably going to be some little.
There might be one thrown in, but honestly, the way this reads, I think that they're giving away Trae for free.
Wild.
I mean, that's what they're doing in that trade, essentially, if they don't get the Mavericks involved with Anthony Davis to bring in something more for themselves. But even then, that was all going to them. They were just getting more talented young players, which CJ McCollum is just basically saying thank you for the cap space.
Yeah, future cap relief.
So there you go.
All right.
There she blows. That's fun. I didn't think we'd actually get that one to pop off by the time we were actually talking about it.
That's good.
And then the last thing I'll say here before we end the first half is the Dallas Stars have not won a game in 2026. And we're going to hope that rebounds. More on that in the future.
Jesus fuck.
How many games have they played in 2026?
3.
All right. Well, that's better than 4.
They've lost 6 straight. That's what's going on.
Holiday break.
Weird stuff. Goalie had a baby, didn't get dad powers like some guys do.
Well,
but yeah, all right. Well, that'll end our first half, and then we'll be back to do some wrapping up the NFL regular season and getting you ready for the NFL playoffs here on part 2.